And good morning. Let's see here. I'm getting some weird um things. Yeah, it's showing that my resolution that I'm outputting apparently is incorrect. Let's see here. Well, my audio is working. Let's see here. One moment. There was an update to OBS, and I it messed up my transitions. And it looks like it may very well have messed up the output of my video. Looks like I am streaming in 4K. So, morning, last meeting of the day over. That's an awesome feeling. Thankfully, this is all I have for work today is to do this and then take my son to the dentist later. So, I think it looks like it's streaming properly. So I think we should be good here. Just got a little delay in the audio of my video versus the audio that we're seeing. It's gonna drive me nuts here. How do I? Uh, OBS, why do you have to do this to me? And 3 hours of meetings today. Oh, I've been through those days. Those are usually my for the longest time it was my Tuesdays. Tuesdays were just meetings all day long. It says here to open studio and then change my streaming resolution, but there's no option to change my resolution in here. So okay, we're just gonna roll with it today, and I'll worry about fixing it in between streams. Okay, so let's get over to. Oh, where did we leave off this week? Been a day, so just gonna lurk and hang out. That is perfectly fine. Okay, let's get this switched over here. Boom. I'm just gonna double check over here when I switch. I think the audio is a little bit more in sync with this camera. Yeah. Oh well, we'll roll with it. I'll figure out why. I am on only like a 50 meg upload, so a 4K stream is not going to be conducive to not buffering, but we'll find out here. This just lines up with exactly how my night went with my 4-year-old was up for until 4:30 in the morning. Okay, so we were working on doing implementing feedback and putting fixes in. I really wanted to get a bonus stream in this weekend, and on Tuesday I was not able to, just because family and all that fun stuff that happened. But I did figure out a couple of these issues. So to where is it? Over here in bugs. Here we go. So the soft lock, that is because of how we're handling the death animations. And I kept rethinking about how I wanted to do this, how I wanted to do it. And then when I was having new app, what is this? This is I just zoomed in a little bit. It's just my personal Kanban tracker that I run on my local server. Um, so completely and totally AI generated. It's just running on my on my local server here in my house. So it's not very good. It's popsicle sticks and duct tape, but it helps me organize, and I can add in the features from Trello, so I don't have to pay for Trello. So that's all this is. Um, but the soft lock, I was talking with Michael from Michael Games, and we were having a conversation, and I realized, what if we just signal? We let the actor take care of its own death animation or hit animation, whatever. We just send the signal, cue it up, and then let that handle. Sorry, my thing just came up, said no data, and It made me wonder if the stream dropped out. Sorry about pausing there. But it was just, if we signal to there and then we just wait for it to resolve all of its animations and then move on, I think that is going to work. And I did a test run on my other laptop and it seemed to work really good. So I'm going to take that code that I tested with. We're going to bring it in here and see if that works. That should also fix this Orc 4X death, where it went back to the initial sprite sheet where it had all four directions. By doing it this way, we say play the death animation and it never changes to a different animation because of the timers. So that should fix that problem also. The other thing that we have to fix in here, that's going to be a long fix, but it's going to make the game better, is I found a problem with our monster spawners. So where let's see here, monster spawner. Monster spawner, here we go. So when we come into the monster spawner and we did this party level, if we lose a character in the dungeon and then we try to recalculate the party level, we have a couple problems. First, it's going to recalculate based on who's left. And right now, I didn't write this very well. So it assumes that there's 4 players, and if one of them's dead, it crashes the entire game. So we're going to change that. So we're going to calculate it when we enter the dungeon. We're going to set the party level for the entire dungeon run, and we'll just calculate when we enter, because then we know A, we'll have 4 players, and B, that level won't change, because it'd be very weird if we lost somebody and you went from, getting good loot to now subpar loot because you lost the guy with the best equipment or something like that. So we'll change that. That one's a pretty easy fix. And then the stacking one right here, character stacking in the same space, I was able to figure out how this happens. And what happens is when the player walks, you tell them to walk across the tiles. I don't know if I have, I don't have it up here. But if you walk across the tiles and where you're telling them to walk to is past their maximum walk distance, if they end their maximum walk distance is in a square with another player, they're allowed to pass through them, because we purposely wrote this so that you could walk right through the other players so you don't get trapped in the hallway and stuff like that. But because it's trying to go to this far square, even though its max distance is right here, then it goes, hey, I'm stopping because I ran out of distance to move. But it never checked because it was checking the end square to see if it was populated, not if where it's actually stopping was populated. So we just have to go back in there and add some extra checking in there to make sure that there's not a person within our stop point. Here's our stop point. Make sure there's nothing there. Walk backwards in our path just to make sure wherever we stop is going to be where there's an open square. So it took me a little while to figure that out. And like I ended last stream thinking that I resolved it. I definitely had not. But I found out what was causing it. So now we can fix it. And then we've also got the combat log here scrolling. This one's going to be fairly easy. We just have to change a couple containers. And then I want to add in the last thing that was definitely requested here. And that was with the, where was it here? I thought we had it here, but people were asking for an auto explore. So if there was just one tile, just automatically reveal it. Don't make us click on it. Only make us choose if there's 2 possible tiles. So then that's where I'm going to work on for that. So I think I have a full stream today. I'm going to get, again, all this stuff implemented here. The single player death, we're going to fix that. This we kind of worked on last time. We'll fix this. We'll fix this. This was I don't have the fix implemented yet for this, but what this was is there's a bug in the move pathfinding. So what would happen was he would try to move, say I have to move here, but because the way we were calculating the distance, it was saying I can't move there because it's, it's only 1 square. And it was only if they were 1 square away from a player. And so it would fail the move, spend the action point, fail the move again, spend the action point, then the turn would be over. So I did find that one. And then the remove defense rolls on failed attack is something I think we can do. This I want to do today. It probably won't be till tomorrow because we have a lot to go through on this one to get this resolved. But that is the plan, at least for today. And then there's also a poll in chat. If you haven't had a chance yet, just what we're going to work on after I fix all these bugs. So, more items. We definitely have to do that. We have more enemies. We actually have the sprites and everything ready for them. We just actually have to build them. And then what was the other options? Bosses. And I really want to make the bosses so that they drop higher level gear. And a lot of the bosses with that are also going to be multi-tile bosses, so they're going to take up more than one square. So it's going to require a lot of additional logic. So that one's kind of kicking that down the road. We do have one boss that is a single tile boss that we could use. So at least we can get the boss logic going. I still have to work on the multi-tile logic because, where is it going to live in terms of everything? Because everything we wrote is for a single tile, not for, a 2x1 or a 2x2 tile. And then we also have a lot more feedback that we can get through, and we got to get through it all eventually. It's just, what are we going to do next? And that's what the poll is about. So right now the boss is winning. So we'll see where it ends up here at the end of the stream. But without further ado, let's go back over here and we'll click. We are at 73 hours. So let's get back into here and we're going to work on first this. So let's get that started. Okay, so let's see. We're going to start with changing the actor. Scripts. Actor. Okay. I need a lot of caffeine today after last night. Whoa. 4-year-old up until 4:30 in the morning is absolutely rough. Okay, so let's go down here. We got our vars. We got all these died. Those are functions. We want variables. Why did I put... Okay, let's clean up some ordering here. Let's take those functions out of here. Because these are all variables. So I want to put those down here. There we go. Let's put those functions down here. Boy, it must have been a space case when I did that. Okay, so let's do right here. We need some more variables. We're going to do variable. Let's do our queued, Q-U-E-U-E-D, queued animation. I was working on my Castlevania game last night, trying to get the save load added in so I can get my next playtest rolled out. Hopefully, cross fingers, this weekend, next week, that Castlevania playtest will be out. And realized that I've been programming for almost a year and I totally misspelled the word location. And not even close to being right. And I was like, how did I miss this? So let's do is dead. Bool. We're going to make that false. Because then we're going to do a whole bunch of checks to, if it's dead, we can ignore the space. It's not a valid blocker. A bunch of things like that. So caffeine's in high demand here as well. Yeah. The other problem is I'm trying to cut back on caffeine. So nights like tonight are making it very challenging. I went from, I probably have 3-4 sodas a day and on top of my coffee and everything. So just trying to cut it back. It's been rough to only 1 cup of coffee a day. Okay, so let's see here on our current HP. So we have this, we have this. If the current HP is less than 0 and the old HP is greater than 0, let's add in a extra thing here. Let's do else if current HP is less than old HP and the current HP is greater than 0. Here we're going to set up our queued animation equals hit. Okay, so this will play our hit logic. I'm going to add in one other thing, and this is what I think is going to stop that 4x orc thing from happening. So we're going to say if queued animation, QUE. Wow. It's supposed to be if queued animation equals what do we call it? Die, I think it was. Does not equal die, then we can queue up hit. Because then that way, if we have die queued, we will not queue up any other animations, and it'll just play to the end because it's a single playthrough animation. Hit the end of that and just stop. It won't try to reset, reload the frames and all that stuff. Okay, so then we also want to add in a function here. We're gonna function take damage. We're gonna do the amount. Amount is an integer. Okay, and then we're gonna double check if is dead. Then we can just return so we don't actually take more damage. There, right now that's not going to do a whole lot, but this is going to add in that safety valve in case later on when we have something that causes like maybe like a tidal wave and it causes multiple times for things to take damage. So it's just going to be an extra safety check in there for that. So we can do current HP minus equals amount. There we go. Okay. So we'll do that. So then we can do this, and this just gives us that safety check where if they're dead or not. I think we need to do one more function. We need to do resolve queued animation, or queued. Let's do queued reaction. Queued reaction. Okay, and then that's going to be a void. Okay, and then so here we can just do var our animation to play, animation to play, and that's going to equal our queued animation. And then we can clear out the queued animation. Okay. Then we can check if animation to play, this is just our safety check, does not equal blank. So we want to make sure that there is something there. And then we want to just double check if there's an animation player and the animation player has, has animation. There we go. And then we want to do animation to play. So we want to make sure that's there. Okay. And then we can do the animation player dot play. And then we can send the animation to play into here. And then here we can, this is going to be the key. This is where we await the animation to finish. Animation finished. Okay. Oops. And then we come back here and we have if is dead. Then we can emit, what was it, died? What was our, died, yeah, okay. Died, emit, and then we can do self. Okay, so if they're dead, else, what we can do here is we can do if animation player, and this again, just safety check because sometimes we might have something that doesn't have an animation player. Always good to do it. If you're just trying to get through things fast, you can kind of skip over checking to see if there is an animation player. But and then we'll set this back to idle. And we want to make sure that they're not moving because this is going to be the trap. Remember how we walk through the trap, we're going to trigger the hurt animation, and then we'll return them back to idle. But if they're still moving, then they're just going to be hovering. They're not going to actually keep walking. So that's why I have this here. And then we can do animation player dot play idle. There we go. No, let's do if they're not moving. Oh, because moving, I believe, on the actor should keep playing the move animation. So let's just double check that. Where's our move? Start move. If animation player play move. Because right now I just realized while I'm doing this, if we do hit and then we go back, are we going to return to the move animation or not? That's going to be the good question on that. Where is it moving? Here we go. So this is if it's moving. I don't want to put it in here because then it's going to skip over. Let's just see how this works. Okay. So we did that function. We just moved some of these other functions around. Where we put them? Die. Here we go. We don't need this anymore because we just did that in the other one. We don't need die on 0 hit points anymore. What we need to do here is we need to set is dead equals to true. Okay. And then we can set the queued animation equals die. And then we can say if moving, moving. Then we can set moving equals false, so we can stop them in their tracks. And then after that, let's set the physics process to false also, so that, oops, F-A-L-S-E, there we go. So they stop moving. And then just to be safe, let's set their velocity equal to vector 2.0. Okay. So if we do that, that's on 0 HP. So they'll be dead. We're going to queue up their die animation. If they're moving, we'll stop them from moving. We'll set the physics process to false and set their velocity to 0. Okay. We did the resolve queued action. So we did this already. I think we need to do one other thing. We'll redo setup. Here we go. So animation player. Let's add in front of this. Let's just do a is dead equals false. So we set it up. We make sure that variable is set to false. And then we can also do, queued animation equals blank. And that's just, again, safety measure. It should automatically happen, but sometimes when we add things back in, it doesn't. So we'll just double check that, make sure it works. Yeah, and I think that should be good for the actor. Let's just see what happens here. Let's just make sure that we play. Oh, you know what? This is combat's not going to work. It's only going to happen on the spike trap. So we need a spike trap to figure out what's happening here. Well, that's not going to work very well. Come on, spike traps. Nope, we're just going to be bum rushed by orcs. Well, we'll see if we can actually... okay, this is fun. There we go. There's some spikes for us to test with. Okay. Just trying to think who's going to be the easiest to kill. Probably the wizard. Okay, so if we do our wizard and we do his... oh, that's not wizard. We're on this guy. Let's just do this. We'll see if we can kill all these orcs one big pass. Oh, it looks like we're killing an awful lot of them. Yeah, we'll kill some more. Can't wait to add the actual animations in there to make that even cooler. So let's teleport over to here. We'll trigger that trap. Boom. Okay, so we took some damage. Now let's see. Can we move in a way? There we go. Okay, so that did not... oh, I know why. I know why. We still got to update the combat manager because that's what handles the turn order and all that stuff. So... Okay. Let me just double check. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything in my notes here. Yeah, because the spike trap, we didn't actually call the take damage, so it didn't actually do the is dead properly. So let's do that first. Let's do spike trap. Okay, so in here, where did we do the body? Right here. We did var damage equals this. Body.current HP is this. So let's cut this out. Let's do if damage is greater than 0. So if we, because some of these traps are duds, then we can do the body dot, and then we'll do take damage, and then we can send in the damage value. There we go. Okay. And then after that, right here, we have this await. This await is what puts the spikes down. So this await will be body dot resolve queued action. Okay. So if we do this, damage is greater than 0. Yeah. Because if we do it, I'm just trying to think here. If we do this, we say if the damage is greater than 0, we tell it to take the damage, and then we await the resolved action. Okay, so we come back to the actor, and we go to take damage here. We say if it's dead, return current HP minus equals. And then we're calling this animation to play equals queued animation. Wait, we need to queue. Oh, right here. Here's our queued animation. So when we take this current HP minus equals amount, we're going to go through here and we're going to set up either it's going to die, set up the die animation, or we're going to set up the hit animation. Might be the fastest bug fix I've done in a while. In your game or the or stuff that you're coding for work? Wait, what happened? Did I just accidentally fat finger something here? Because I have something here that just says queued animation. Oh, this should be equals blank. There we go. Oh no, in the 9 to 5 side hustle. I, I like that term for work. 9 to 5 side hustle. 20 minutes start to finish. That's pretty good. I spend more time at work trying to figure out what the how do I want to phrase this? Try to figure out the plan of what needs to change. The actual change is like 3 seconds, but trying to understand exactly what needs to change and documenting it just takes so long. And my company has become basically Office Space now. It's like I need to fill out forms in triplicate to get things resolved. It's insane. Just need to make the PR and stuff. So one thing, I've never worked in an actual group PR setting for coding. Everything I've done has been solo. So I'm doing my own pull request. Yeah, it is a fun sentence. It happened by accident. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so we did this. We got the spike traps. Oh, wait, we have a tile. I think we have a tile that is spike traps. Thought I made one. Well, let's edit this one. Let's make spike traps. There we go. Okay. So now if I start the game, we should have spike traps. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's see if we can kill. Boom. Ah, we didn't kill him. Okay, let's try again. Let's see if we can get one where I don't have to worry about fighting. Yeah, exactly. I don't do PRs anymore in my game. It's so much work. I just merge when I'm solo, so that is fine. Yeah. Um, that's basically my stuff. Okay. So we got the animation right, but right now we're not ending the turn. Right clicking brings us up so we can then end the turn, and then it goes, hey, it's all missing. Okay. So now we just have to update the combat manager or the game board and the combat manager to make sure things get removed properly. Okay, so let's go to, let's see, what should we do next? Probably the combat manager. I think, or should we go to let's go to the game board because then we can test out the spike traps. Okay, so if I go here, where are my notes for the game board? What did I do? Game board, here we go. So if I go to function, we go to the actor remove. That's move. Where's remove? Actor remove. Here we go. Okay. So if does not equal the current turn node, let's do. I'm going to change this. We're going to say if not is instance valid. Is instance valid. Here we go. Underscore actor. Okay. So if it's not valid, then return. Okay. And then we don't really care about this. That one game studio, Game Dev Hype. Greetings. Welcome to my, I don't know if I want to call it an embarrassing build, but a overtired caffeine fueled board game building. Okay, so let's see, where was it? So if it's not valid, then return, so we don't have to worry about trying to remove it. Let's do a var was current. Okay, and then we can say the turn manager dot current turn node does not equal null, and our actor, oops, and actor, ACTOR, okay, equals the turn manager dot current, so you are our turn node dot actor. Okay, there we go. We are here to hype. I turn coffee into games. I am an eldritch being. Yes, Cthulhu is filled by coffee. Oh. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so right now we're gonna say who was the current character. And then we can do, I don't need the print anymore. Let's put it back in. Let's put print error. So then we can see who's getting removed. So game board actor remove. We do this, and then we do a plus, we do a string. And then we can do, actually, we don't need the string because this will be a actual string. So if we do underscore actor dot actor name, there we go. Okay, so then we can see who it's going to be. We await the unregister, which we're not going to change that. This we're going to change here. So we say if was current, and turn manager dot current turn node does not equal null. Okay. Then we can do this. We can just say current actor equals turn manager. Oops, turn manager dot current turn node dot actor. Okay, and then why did I just retype that? It's right there. And then we can just do turn manager dot start turn, and then we can send in the current actor. There we go. Oops. Did not mean to hit page down on that. Okay. So that should update with our spike traps now. So then if we die on the spike traps, it should end the turn and move on, I think. Okay. Rogue. Can we kill the rogue in one move? Let's find out. Ooh, yeah. He took that much damage. Okay. And hey, there we go. Okay. So that works. That fixes the bug that was reported. But I want to point out something here now, because now we have this problem here with the get party item level with the monster spawner. So let's quickly fix that. Stop the game. Where's our monster spawner? Here we go. Fix monster spawner. Let's do a export, put it right here. Var party item level. It's going to be an integer. It's going to equal. We're just going to default it to 1. Okay, and then what we can do I want to do it that way, or do I want to do it? No, this is the monster spawner. I want to put that in the game manager. Game manager. Here we go. Oh, that's combat. Game manager. Up here. So let's put that here. Okay, and then in monster spawner, where we do game manager, instead of get party item level, we can just do party item level that way. Okay. So then that will pull from the game manager, and then we just have to go back into the game manager, and we're going to take this, and we're going to do where we transfer them into transfer party to the dungeon. Here we go. Into the dungeon. Party equals this equals get party item level. There we go. So now it will just calculate it when we enter the dungeon, set the party item level. So then if a character dies, it won't crash, and it won't change the level at which monsters spawn. So if we do this, we'll enter in here. And then let's see if we can kill the priest here. There, and then if we walk across all the traps, there we go. Okay, so then he dies. We move on. We end turn, spawn monsters. There we go. Okay, so everything is spawning properly. Okay, great. So we got that. That is done. I wanted to show one other thing. I believe we still have to fix combat. So if I go up here and we do fire torrent, sure. Oh, well, that still works. Let me try one other thing. Let's see if I can get an AoE. This is an AoE. Let's see if that, oops. Okay, that's working. What did that? Oh, I know what I wanted to do. Because of, we changed the way the character happens. So if a party member dies, let me try this. Actually, let's go back over here to our tile editor. Let's edit this. Let's put this back to how it was. Save. There we go. Because if our party member dies now, during combat, it's going to mess things up. So let's just see if I can get that to happen here. Come on, orcs, kill the wizard. Not with those die rolls, you won't. Oh, they're attacking the priest. Okay, well, then let's just move these guys out of the way. So then, end turn, we'll move the priest out of the way. There we go. Now they should just attack the wizard. Okay. Oh, come on. Stop being good at defending yourself, wizard. Okay, here we go. Because I think what's happened with when I moved how the death animations are handled now, it's going to break with the combat system if one of our players dies in combat. I should just buff up the orcs so they hit harder. Maybe that would cause something to happen better. Oh my god. Wizards are not supposed to be that durable. Okay, one more hit on the wizard. Come on, one more hit. Also going to lurk for a bit, taking my daughter to school. Yeah, my kids are already off at school. It's almost 11 here, so. Come on, kill him. Here we go. Here we go. There we go. Yep, and it crashed. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, see that's what I was worried about with this is because of the way I changed how the player character dies. I need to update the combat manager. Okay. So let's close this. Let's go to combat manager here. So let's see. Let's start with our unregistered actor. So let's see. What do we want to do here? Let's check. Let's start with if it's not a valid instance, is valid instance act. Oh, no underscore in this one, just actor. So if it's not a valid instance, then just return. And return false. Okay. If it's not about, oh, you know what? We also wanted to double check something. Because there's one other thing I saw and I wanted to try this. If actor dot is queued for deletion. So there is a way that Godot works is at the end of the frame is then when it removes things. So sometimes it'll be working on deleting things because it has to delete all the children first before it deletes the parent object. So there could be a time where this overlaps where it's being removed and it hasn't completed yet. So we want to add this in here. So if it is queued for deletion, then we don't want to do it either. Okay, so we do that. Let's go down to our physical attack. Let's see, where do we want to change? We want to add in after we assign the damage. Damage, here we go. So here where we do the attack animation, we're going to change this around slightly. So let's see, how do we want to do this? Let's do... I don't think we need to do... This is going to play our actual animation. This is our attack animation. Okay. So then if we have... If damage is less than 0, return false. How do I want to do this? How do I want to approach it? I'm going to take all of this out, I think. I'm going to actually save this because I want this part still. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to take out all of this down through this, I think. Yeah. Let me take all of that out. And then what we're going to do in here instead, we're going to do an await, and then we're going to do a target dot resolve queued action, and then we can say if target dot is dead, then we can go through this, play all that, and await that. Okay, so that should help with this, but now I need to change up here where we actually take the damage. So we want to play an attack animation, but we also want to take into account, here's the damage. Let me think about how I want to do this here. Because we need to call the target take damage so that we can queue that properly, and then we want to do the log. So I want to do that here. This is just playing. This is just playing the animation. So yeah, let's put this in here. Whoops. Let's do if damage is greater than 0. And then we can do a target dot take damage. Oops, that was always spelled damage, right? Okay. And then we can log the update that it took the damage. Okay. And then we'll play the attack animation. Okay. So that should work for melee attacks. Okay. Okay. So let's make sure that's working for melee attack. Okay, so if I attack here, boom. Here we go. We took 2 damage. It died. Everything seemed fine there. Let's see here. Let's move over to here. Let's try this one more time. I want to make sure I check the order of events. So we attack, we roll. We have the result. Okay, they attack, they roll. Okay. So we roll, we got the result. Okay, so it took the damage, waited until the attack animation was done, then played the death animation. So let's just make sure that that is the order it happens here. Attack, death. Okay, perfect. So melee's working as we intended. Okay. So that's melee. Now we need to also update AoE. Oh, attack AoE. Here we go. Let's see. Where did I put my notes on this one? There's attack. Where are my notes for AoE? I thought I made a change to AoE, but oh, here it is. Okay, target. I just saw it. Where the heck did it go? Okay, so let's just roll through this. Attacker dice, turn damage. Dice pool, damage to targets. Targets. VAR damage. Here we go. Target that current HP minus equals damage. Okay, so this, I think, is where I need to change this. So I pen damage. We do a target. So we don't need this. We will need... So let's do here. If damage is greater than 0. Okay. And then we can do this. And then this becomes take damage. Take damage. Okay. And then we log the update there. Okay. We play the attack animation. This I still have to do, so that's not in there yet. Okay. Play the hit die. So here we're going to replace all of this because that's all going to be handled by the actor scene now. So if we do... So we keep the for target and targets, right? Let's do... Let me just double check my notes here because I don't like trying to create like a copy of a variable just to then process just the copy. I know it means nothing in modern computers and stuff like that. It's just something that always bugs me of, creating a copy and then working with the copy versus the original. So I have here, like, for some reason, I'm creating a pending targets array. And I don't remember what my logic was. This is the problem is, like I solved this, I want to say it was like 5 or 6 days ago. And I'm trying to remember my logic behind why I did it this way. Well, you know what? Let's just put it in. We'll figure it out as we type. So we'll do a var here, pending targets. It's an array of actors, ACTOR, and we're going to keep it blank for now. Target and targets. Oh, whoops. That is supposed to be a colon. There we go. Okay. So for target and targets, let's do if instance. Oh, I think I already remember why. Because we want to check if the instance, instance is valid. So then we're only working on valid targets, even though the original targeting array may have some characters that are no longer valid. I believe that's why we did that. Target, right? Target. Yes. If is instance valid target, and we want to do target dot queued animation does not equal blank, or target dot is dead, right? Then we can add them into the pending targets. So append target. So again, this is more of a safety check. This just says, hey, make sure it's still a valid target and make sure that they don't have they're not dead and they don't have, they weren't hurt basically. Because if this is this blank means our current HP didn't queue up a die or queue up a hit animation. So, okay. So we do that, and then we can say if not pending targets is empty. So if it's not empty, then we can go through it. We can do for target, TAR, in pending targets. I don't want to do for target because that's going to reuse. We already used target. Oh, no, we didn't. We used it in this loop. So this is a new loop. Okay, so that should be fine. For target and pending targets, and then target dot TAR GET dot resolve queued action. Okay. So then that should go through our animations, resolve the animations that need to be removed. So then let's also do so we did that. If not pending, we're still here. Let's do one more time. Target and pending targets. So after they've resolved their animations, let's say if is valid. Okay. Target, let's make sure they're still valid. And they have a animation player, and they have target dot animation player dot is playing. Okay, so if it's playing, then we can await the target. Oops, I didn't want a space there. Target dot animation player dot animation finished. Okay, so we can go through that. We can wait for that to happen. Then after that, we can say if is instance. We're basically just going to copy this again. So let's put this down here. If it's valid and the target is not dead, target is dead. Target is dead. So if they're not dead, target animation player and is oops, I cut out the wrong one. I wanted to do this. And target animation player dot has animation idle. Oops, double quotes. Okay, so if it has idle, then we can tell it to play the target animation player dot play idle. That's not how you spell idle. Idle. There we go. Boom. Okay. Oops. This is the problem with doing the stream zoom in, because it's I'd normally code with a smaller text size so I can fit more on the screen. Okay. So then we have all this. This will play the idle animation. I don't think I need any of this stuff anymore. So we do this. We go through all that. We do... Wait a minute. Where did we do target, take damage? Okay, so we already did that up here. Okay. So we did all that. So I don't think I need this, because this is just going through and queuing up all the animation. That we will need. Okay. So let's see here. Where did we set up the counter? Here we go. Here's our counter. So we don't need the counter anymore. We don't need the playing animations anymore, because that's going to be basically our pending targets now. Okay. So we go through all that. We do check all that, play animation. Now we need to do one more. Just delete that because we don't need that anymore. Now we need to go through and queue up everybody that needs to be removed. So if we do for target and targets, so this is our original list, we can say if is valid instance, and then we're going to do target. Okay. So if is valid and target dot is dead, then we can do the unregister actor target. Okay. So that will then clean up the actor. So we don't need to worry about the damage anymore. We just need to worry about if monster, so we can assign gold. There it is. Okay. So then we can just do if is instance valid is oh wait, we don't need that. We just need to do this right here. So we unregister the actor. If the target is a monster, then we can drop the gold. Found the gold, and we can say the monster died, or whoever it was. Target is dead. And we don't need to do playing animations anymore. We don't need to wait for playing animations anymore. So let's just put that right here. This is our unregister. So we don't need this. Oh, we should probably put the await in there. Right here. Await unregister actors. Target and targets. Check if it's valid. Check if they're dead. We unregister it. Wait, we don't want to do that first. We want to do that down here, because if we unregister it here, this is going to be an invalid instance. Okay. So if we do that, that should be fine there. Okay. So let's check that. Let's see here. Safe trip Loki. I'm going to switch from work 1 to work 2, so it might not be on for a bit. Have a meeting. Thought you were all done your meetings. You're going to keep having meetings? Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so we got that. We need to do... we got the unregistered actor. I think we need to clean up the game board some more. I don't remember if we finished doing that. Game board. Let's go take a look at the game board. I think I did this. Actor remove. Did we do this? I think we did. Actor remove. Yeah, if instance is valid. Okay, so we did all that. I think that should work. So let's just double check. Let's see different ways we can kill people. Okay. It's really weird for me because normally I like to put sound like right off into my games, and not having sound right now has been very weird. Okay, there's AoE. That's done. Okay, ooh, good. Look at this. We can try to kill our rogue right off. See if we can do it again. There we go. Oh, we'll have to clean that part up. But yay, that works. Okay, so let's see. We did that. We did that. Die in combat. That's the next thing we need to double check. So let's move our priest up here. Let's see if we can get him to die in combat. Move him right in front of the orc. End turn. And the orc's not going to be able to hit us. Come on, orc. You can do it. Oh, you know what? We need to actually kill an orc also in combat to make sure it works properly. So let's move him here. See if we can get some more orcs. There we go. Okay. See if we can get rid of one of these. We only need one orc for testing. There we go. Okay. Hit. Hey, there we go. Damaged. Okay. Okay, see if we can kill the orc in combat here. Okay, so that works fine. Okay, let's see if our player can get killed in combat. Not this right. Okay, there we go. There's some damage. Okay, come on, orc. You can do it. Not this right, you can't. Okay, come on. Probably should have put the wizard up there or the barbarian, someone who can has less defense than the cleric or the priest. I believe I'm calling them priest in this game now. Eventually, you're going to get through. There we go. Dead. And advance his turn. Okay, good. That all works. Yay! Okay. So we did that. We did fix the monster spawner. We need to fix the stacking issue next. So if I do something like, let's see here. See if I can recreate this here. The wizard has a 4 movement. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I move him to here, let's see if I can recreate this. So if I try to tell him to move, how am I going to do this? Yeah, here we go. So if I tell him to move to this square, he's going to stack on top of the priest. So we need to stop that from happening. Took me a long time to figure out how that bug was possible. So if we come back into our player, actually, we haven't been into our player yet today, but we're going to come in here. We're going to add in the new helper function. Let's see, input, activate. Do we have a movement finish, cancel movement? Here, we'll just put it right here. We're going to do a function is cell occupied. See, UPIED, occupied. Yes, sorry, my spelling is something atrocious. Can Evan, when he views this, is going to say, "Yep, he can't spell anything to save his life." I still have somewhere I have priest, I think, misspelled, and I have not come back to fix it yet. Okay, so this is going to be a Boolean check function. We're going to just say, is there someone else already there? We're going to say for player in get tree dot group, was it find all in group? Get nodes in group. That's what it is. Get nodes in group players. Okay, and then we're going to say if player does not equal self, okay, because we don't want to check against ourselves, and because then we'll always come back true saying yes, we exist in that current cell. Current cell, and player.current cell equals the cell that we're checking, and we want to make sure player is not dead. There we go. Player is not dead. Then we can return true. TRUE. So if any of these happen, so if it's not myself and there's a player in the current cell and the player is not dead, then we return true because then there's a player there. We're going to do the same exact thing here for monsters. So we want to make sure we don't end up in monster squares. We shouldn't end up in monster squares anyway because we're marking them as solid squares when we're doing pathfinding. But we always want to do this just in case because we don't want to have some weird oddity. So this is more for safety reasons. And then we're going to change this to monsters. Monsters. Yep. And then we can just change where it says player to monster. MON, monster. Maybe I'll put this in. Yeah, because we don't want the monsters stacking up over each other either. So maybe we'll put this in the actor script, and then we can use it for both the monsters and the players. So let's just finish writing it, and then we'll move it over. Monster is not equal self, and monster. Oops. Monster current cell, and monster is dead. Okay, so then we can check that. And then otherwise, if all those are good, we can return false. Boom. Okay. So let's take this. Let's cut this out here. Let's go over to our actor script. And actually, do we have moves? Here we go. Moves. Do we have a... Actually, you know what? No, let's leave it in the player script because our monsters already have... we'll put the function in here. We'll put the function in here. There we go. So there's the function. Come back over to our player. And then we're going to our input. Here we go. And where we have check to see if occupied. We have that here. If is occupied. Here we go. Check to see if it's occupied. So what we can do is we can get rid of all this. I think this is, we can just get rid of all of this. I think we can get rid of more than that even. Target cell does not equal cell. And then we can just come down through, actually we can just get rid of that comment as well. All the way down through if is occupied. We'll just delete all that. And we can just replace this with that function. What we call it. Oops. var is occupied. Is that what we want to do? Do you want to do it that way? Because that's going to return a Boolean condition and tell us if the cell... Oh, we don't want to do it that way. Yeah, no, we're going to do... If target is a target cell, we don't even need this else. I don't think. No, we want to keep this here. So what we want to do in here, we want to do a var. Let's do a raw path. So this is what it's going to calculate. It's going to be a grid.get point and path. And we're going to do the current cell. Current cell. Oops, I did double brackets here. I didn't mean to do double brackets. Current cell and then to the target cell. Okay. So that's our raw path is going to equal that. And then we can say if raw path dot is empty, then we can start populating our move points. Right? Did I do that right? If the raw path is empty, then we can start adding the move points. Or no, we'll empty out the move points. And then we can do path previs dot points equals that. And then we can also do target cell equals target. Okay. And then we can do the return right. Oops. Target. Okay. So if the target does not equal the target cell, we do the raw path and we get all the grid points. If it's empty, then we just empty it all out and return. So there's nothing there. We don't have a path for the character to follow. If it's not empty, then we're going to go through here and we need to recalculate stuff in here. Okay, so then here, we're going to say, we don't need this else because we're doing a return right here. So we don't need this else anymore. So let's get rid of that. Okay. And then let's do, there we go. Okay. So then what we need to do here, let's do a var, let's do a sliced path, SLI, sliced path. We're going to take the raw path and then we're going to slice it down. And then we're going to do 0, comma, movement plus 1. So then we get the entire movement range. And we do movement plus 1 because remember, it counts up an extra level each time. So then we can do while sliced. I'm going to say sliced path instead of sliced path. I don't like that. There we go. Dot size is greater than 1. Let's look at the end point of the path. So wherever the end is, the end point of the path, and then we can say that's going to equal sliced path -1. So we're going to take a look at the end. Var end cell. That's not var, that's ver. Come on, ver. Let's see here. So if we take the end cell and make this a vector 2i, we're going to take the endpoint that we just calculated, and we're going to divide that by grid cell size. Why are we doing that? Oh, because we're trying to get the vector 2i result. That's right. Grid.cell size. And then we can just say, oh, don't we have a position to set? Yeah, whatever. We'll just keep moving on for right now. If is cell occupied by other. So if it is occupied, then we can just do our sliced path, and then we can do a remove at, and then we can do sliced path dot size -1. So if is cell is occupied by other, sliced path dot remove at sliced path dot size -1. And then if not, we can do else. We can break. So that'll break out of this while loop. What am I missing here? Too few arguments. So would we send into? Oh, we need to send the actual end cell. There we go. So then we're going to check to see if the end of the movement path is occupied. If it is, we're going to drop that. We're going to go back to the next point backwards in the path plan, see if that's occupied, If it is, drop that, so on and so forth. So we're going to go through and we're going to just slice down the path until we run out of places to go. Okay, so we got the break here, and then we can come back here after the while loop is out. So we can say if sliced path dot size is less than or equal to 1, then that means basically we have nowhere to go, because remember, our first square counts as 1 in this instance. So we can say move points equals nothing, and path previs dot points is nothing. And then we can say else, and then here we can put in all of this stuff. Right? Do we need all this? No, because we don't need to slice it anymore, because we already figured it out. So we don't need any of this. We will need that. This can come back here. This is going to become move points is going to equal our sliced. Oops. It's going to equal our sliced path. Yeah, that should just equal our sliced path, right? Hold on. What did we have before? Let me just double check. Okay. So this, oh, I see what I did. Okay. So our move points here, instead of move points as array, this is going to be sliced path as array. And then we're going to map that function to our grid cell size divided by 2. Okay. Our path previs will be this way. Our target cell will be out here, because we want to make sure the target cell is fine. Okay. So this should prevent stacking. So if we move our priest down to here, end the turn. Okay. Now if our wizard, we wanted to move here, it shouldn't stack anymore, because now you can see the endpoint is that square. So if we go to here, he stops the previous square. But now if we move, we can still cut through the square, but we can't end in a square that's occupied. Okay, great. Okay, so that finishes our stacking. We've got that. Let's go back over here to our stuff. Let's hit stop on that for a second. So we can say, where's our bug list? Why did, oh, because I got moved into progress. In progress, here we go. So we finished this. That bug is complete. This bug, the fixed 4x orc death, that should be complete because of the new way that we're handling the death animations. Did we add? No, we didn't do any of that stuff. Okay. So let's work on this. We're gonna do the auto explore next. Okay, so we got all this. Let's add in our auto explore. So let's go into our game board. And so what we're basically trying to do, for people who aren't familiar with this, instead of going here and when there's only one square to explore, it's just going to automatically populate the tile instead of having to have us click. We'll only have to click if there's 2 possibilities. Okay, so let's go here. We're going to take this show possibilities. I'm going to slightly change some stuff here. So I'm going to cut this out entirely, and we're going to replace this with a new function called get available. Get available explore options. Okay. And then I don't think we have to spend anything to it. No. But we're going to pass back an array. That's an array of dictionaries. Okay. Okay. And from there, we're going to say var our options. It's going to be an array. Oops. Capital A. Because that's what Godot likes. Array of dictionary. We're going to equal that to blank right now. And then I'm just going to put this down here so then it return options. There we go. That should help. Yeah, that'll get rid of that error. Okay. So we're going to look at the options. So first we're going to check, let's see, let's do if we're going to use our not valid instance. So if it is valid, the current actor, current, because we don't want to do this if they died in that cell. So we can just return options. So right now options are blank. If they die, we return blank. So oops. So then let's do a var cell equals our dungeon tile map, position to cell, POS, position, position to cell, and then it's going to be our current actor dot global position. There we go. Okay. Var, we're going to use our tile origin, if you remember that we wrote this previously. So tile origin equals, and we're going to call dungeon map dot snap, what do we call it? Snap tile, I think it was snap tile cell. Okay, I think dungeon snap tile. Yep, that's what we called it. Okay, so the origin, that's going to snap it to that tile. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to do this right here. So we get the local X's. And then we're going to look at the up. And instead of calling the vertical explore here, we're going to take this. I'm trying to remember, do I use... I don't think I'm going to use that. So let's just delete this out. We're going to do options. Oops, options here. And then we're going to do append. Oops, dot append. And these are dictionaries. So we're going to do parentheses, curly brackets. And then we're going to do chords. Oops, chords. And that's going to be our target. Then we're going to do direction. Okay, and our direction is going to be vector2 dot down, because this is our, as you can, I'm pointing at my screen, because it's the up, so the direction is going to be down. And then we need to add in node. Oops, that's supposed to be this way. There we go, node. And that's going to be our vertical explorer. Okay, and then we close this out and we're all done. So we're just going to take this, copy. And so this, we're going to just change this to up. And this is vertical explorer. So this one, we're going to do the same thing. But instead of down, this is left. So this is going to be right. And this is going to be horizontal explorer. Oops, doubled explorer. I didn't want to do that. There we go. So we copy that and come down here to the right. We'll do this again. This will be left. Okay. So then we got that, and those are our options. So we return the options. And now we're going to do our new function for show possibles. Oops, void. Okay. And then here we're going to do var options equals get available options. If options dot size equals 1, and then what we can just do, we're just going to explore it right off. So var opt equals options 0. Okay, because there's only going to be one option. We're just set to the default value. After that, we're going to call add tile, and we're going to send it the options quote chords. Okay, option coordinates, and then we need to send it the options opt. And then this was direction. Yeah, direction. There we go. So we got that. We send it the direction. And then we can say else if options.size, right? Else if options.size is greater than 1, then this is where we're going to have to prompt the player. So then we'll say for opt and options, and then we can just do opt node dot show available. Okay. And then we can just send in this part right here. Just copy that. So we show available chords dot x, dot x. And then we're going to do a dot y, because remember, we're sending these in individually. Dot y. Okay. And then opt direction. Okay. Opt node, show available, opt chords.x, opt chord.y, okay. So then, because we're doing show, where's our show available? Make sure I'm passing this right properly. Oh, wait, you know what? We can probably just click on this, right? Nope. Game board. Where is our horizontal? Here we go. Horizontal Explorer. Show available. Yeah. New X, new Y, direction. Okay. So that, let's go back to our, where were we just editing that? That was in game board, I think. Game board. Yeah, game board right there. Okay. So then what we should do with this is we're going to get our available options, which will go through basically what was previously our show possibles. If there's only one option, then we're just going to automatically add that tile. If there's more than one option, then we'll call the horizontal and the vertical node and tell them to show, and then we can click on what's there. Let's see if this works. I think it works. I don't know if I need an await, but let's find out. So explore, end turn. We have two possibles. Click here. If I move to here, there's only one possible. Okay. Just double check some more stuff. Let's move them down to here. Move to, where do we have anywhere I can move to that's not? I guess not. There, that square's got two. So let's just make sure that something doesn't break in the meantime. Okay. Whatever. We'll just move you here. Auto explored. I feel like we need to add like a little pause or something in there. Just because we want it to make sure we can see what that new tile is before we go too far. So if I come down to here, we should get the option. Yep, there we go. Okay. Awesome. So we got the Auto Explorer working. Okay. Okay, so we got that. Let's go back over here. Boy, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I'm going to call that done for right now, but I think there's more I want to do. We need to also fix the bug with, I don't think I added it over here. I did not. With the combat log. So if we come back in here, whoops, that's not where I wanted to be. I'm just going to hit start timer and dungeon var tiles. There we go. So we come back in here. We explore and turn. So right now with this, if we scroll the mouse wheel on this, it's going to scroll this and the map. So let's just do this and turn. Come on, let's get some extra stuff in here. Oh, you know what? I can just, there we go. That'll work. That should fill this combat log up so we can see the bug. Yeah. So now right now, if I scroll this damage window, it's also scrolling this. So we just have to add in some extra checks and balances there. So first thing I want to do is come into our camera 2D. Let's go into our function unhandled input here. So we have this. This is check-in for the mouse wheel up and down. This is pressed. We can leave the pressed, but I want to change this. So let's do this. Let's do if event dot button index and let's use mouse wheel up and mouse wheel not if event button index equals mouse wheel button up. You know what? Hold on. What am I doing? I'm getting myself all confused. Okay, so if the event index is mouse wheel button up. Oh, I know what I was trying to do. Got it. Brain working right now. Okay, so if it's in this listing down, so if it's mouse wheel up or mouse wheel down, then we're going to go var hovered equals get viewport, get viewport dot GUI get hovered control. Okay, we got that. If hovered, wow, if hovered does not equal null, return. So if we're hovering over any control, then don't do anything. Else we can do if the mouse wheel is up, then we can do the target zoom. Else if it's down, then we can zoom in and out. Okay. So this should restrict us right now to only zooming when we're not over something. Okay, so here when we're on buttons, this, now we can only zoom when we're on this. Okay, so let's see. Okay, here we go. We got some actions. Let's move. See if we can get this combat log filled here. Wow, that was a horrible attack. Let's see if we can get this. Come on. There we go. Okay, so now we can scroll this, and it doesn't scroll that. So that only scrolls when we're over, when we're not over another control node. Okay, so that should work very well. I don't think I need to change anything else. I think that's good there. Wow. I fixed these bugs a lot faster than I thought I was going to today. Okay, so let's go back over here. Let's go back to our list. Character stack in the same space. We fixed this. This can be, where's our home? Cross out, strike through, boom, that's done. This, we just fixed that. That's done. This, I want to add that bounding box. We haven't done that yet. This, we just fixed that. Boom. What else do we do? We need to add AP to buttons. Turn the town. Right click cancel. Yep, we got add end turn. That's definitely targeting confusion. Target cycling. We're still working on that. That one's not done yet. Turn phase clarification. I got to do that. Possible to not explore new tiles. I I don't understand that one. I'm going to cross this off. I'm going to wait to get more on this new play test. But I think now because it's automatically, I think what they were saying is if I choose not to stand on the edge, I don't explore new tiles, so that helps. HP bar on the map, exploration confusion. I'm gonna cross that off because I crossed that off in Kanban. That I definitely want to work on. Show possible movement spaces for actor. I definitely want to do that. That's going to take a little bit more. You know what? Let's make our dice larger. Let's work on that one. Make sure my timer's still going. It is. Okay. So let's do, is it dice pool? Actor dice pool. So die. Here's our die. Here's our sprite. It's 16 by 16 because we zoom this up. Can we do scale? If we do that, what's this going to look like? So we do that, and then we do Divine Fire, boom. Okay, so then these are going to be too big. That's going to look... I wonder. Let's see what it looks like at full screen. So we do this. We do... Oh, wait, where is it? Over here now? Over here. There we go. Okay. So we do this. Make it full screen. Okay. We move down here and turn. Okay, here we go. Now we've got some... We can get some dice to come up. Okay, so if we attack here... I feel like these are the right size originally, and it works in the UI setup. I think there might be just a little bit of confusion about what they mean. I don't think we need to change. Let's see here. Yeah, let's set that back. I don't think I like... Yeah, I feel like the dice are big enough here, and maybe we just need better clarification of, what they are. Yeah. Okay. Let's set our game testing. Game. Put it back so it's embedded, so we don't have to deal with that. Okay. So I think we're going to cross that off right now. We definitely need more content. Let's see here. Let's see what our poll is. Our poll is more enemies at 25%, bosses at 75%. Okay, so I'm going to hit end poll on this. So we're going to do bosses. And that's going to be what our next thing is going to be. So we're going to work on building a boss into the end. And what we'll probably have to do is we'll probably have to come back into our tile editor here. We'll have to build a boss room tile. So then when we get to like the dungeon exit or something like that, we can say, hey, we need a boss. Maybe we throw him, come into our dungeon exit here and we do a special spawn right here and we spawn the boss right there. I'm not gonna save that because I don't want to save that there, but okay. So I'll add that to my list for tomorrow, is working on bosses. Let's see what else is in our Kanban that we need to address. And we got like 20 minutes, so let's see what... Oops. Dungeon fodder. Here we go. Actor clarity. So I kind of want to do a bounding box. Let's take a look at... where is it here? Did I do it in 4... No, I think it was 462. So let me open up another one of these. what was it called? Oh my god, why can't I think of the name of the game now? Terminus Squad. There we go. 4.6. Okay, I'm in 4.7. I need to be in 4.6. Terminus Squad. There we go. Okay. So in this one, I have some bounding boxes that I made. So if I just quickly run the game here. So when we select them, oops, there we go. So we got this bounding box, which I think will be useful for this game as well. So let's see. Did I just make it a range attack selection indicator? Here we go. That's all I did. Okay. So this, let's grab this select box. Okay. So let's copy that select box. Copy. Let's go back into Dungeon Fire Tiles. Where are you? There you are. Assets, sprites, paste. Okay. So then, and of course this thing is, don't save. Okay, so let's go back into here. Let's go back into our characters. You know what? Let's do an actor. Nope, my brain just went out the door. Okay, so in here, select box. Let's put it in. I'm just trying to think. Do we want to put the select box on the tile, or do we want to put the select box just on characters? For right now, let's just put it on players. So let's go back to player. Let's just take our select box here. We're going to put that in as a constant. Copy. We're going to, on super, we'll do this. We'll do, let's do a var. Yeah, var select indic, select indicator. That's going to be a, what's it called? Texture. Sprite 2D. Wow. Brain. Okay, so on ready, we're going to do select indicator equals select box dot instantiate. No, we'll do var new box equals select box dot instantiate. Instantiate, and then what we can do is we can then do this is the player, so we can just do add child new box. We can do also new box dot visible. Visible equals false. Okay, we'll add the child. Select indicator equals new box. Okay. So then, when we select activate, hold on. Does this activate the right? For monster and get tree, no monsters grid set point. I think this is only for when we're moving. Movement finish, cancel movement. So I don't want to do it there. I think I do it in game board where we do activate player. Game board. Here we go. Update active. If it's here we go. This. So this is. You know what? No, let's do this. let's do this in actor instead of player, so then we can also add it to our monsters, because we want to see when our monsters move as well. So let's go ahead and just cut this out. Go over to our actor. We're going to put that right here. We're going to come back into our player. We're going to take this, cut that out. We're going to go back into our actor. On ready. Where's ready? Ready, ready. There's ready. We're going to do this. And then we need to copy over this. I feel like I'm doing this like the most backwards way possible. Okay. So then we got this. That's going to be for everybody. It's going to be invisible by default. So if we go back to game board. Okay. And then when we do update active, modulate, this is changing the color. Do we want to change the color? Let's not change the color right now. And we'll just do current actor dot select indicator dot visible equals true. Okay. And then this is where we turn it off. So we'll do false here. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Did I misspell instantiate? I probably did. INST. Oh, because this isn't a scene. This is just a node. This is just an image. Do you want to just make it a scene? Yeah, why not? Scene, new scene. Where'd it go? I said scene, new scene. Oh, here it is. Okay, so it'll be a other node. Sprite 2D. There we go. Boom. And we're going to call it select, S-E-L-E, select box. Okay. And then this, we can just put this into here. Boom. Whoops. Boom. Select box. Save. Okay. And this is going to be our core components. Save it there. Okay. So now if we come back into our actor, we'll do this. We'll get rid of that. And we'll do this select box. Okay. And then that, when we do on ready now, we should be able to instantiate it. There we go. Okay. So then we can do that. Is it not visible? What do we... Oh, we modulate it because it's not visible. It's modulate. Okay. M-O-D-U-L-A-T-E, modulate equals color, and then we'll do 1, 1, 1, 0. So that's going to be so like that. There we go. I always think it's square brackets for some reason and not. Okay, so we copy that, and then when we activate it over here, we do select indicator dot modulate equals this, and then down here, set that to 1. There we go. Okay. Okay, so then when we move, And then it goes to the new one. Don't know if that's going to be too big. That might be a little bit too big. Let's try to shrink it down a little bit. Select box. Offset, is it? What is it? No, it's transform. Here we go. Scale. Shrink it down by half. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I don't think that makes it easier to see. How about if we do, oh, you know what we can do? We can go here. We can add a child animation layer. Okay, and then we can do animation new. Just default it. And then what we can do is we can make this throb. So if we do this, create scale, and we do ping back and forth, we insert a key, we make this, 0.1. Let's make sure we snap it to the right spot. Boom. Okay, and then we do 1. There we go. So then if we come back here, that's fine. Why is that? Oh, there it goes. Boom. Okay. So let's see. Oh, autoplay. There we go. Okay. So we come in here, we explore. Okay. So now we have the active indicator. So we're coming down here. Let's see what it looks like with a monster turn. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? You think that's a good way to show active? I mean, we can also go back into our script here. We can set this modulate back up. So then it also modulates the character. I don't know if I like the modulate as much, because then, it's modulating the actor and the box. Yeah, I don't know if I like that as much. I feel like we also need to set this on layering. Where's the layer? I don't want to do top layer. I want to do ordering. Here we go. Let's put it on layer 50, so then it's always on top. Let's go back to the game board. Let's character, actor. Let's do self modulate. So then it only does. No, I don't. No, that's fine. Let's get rid of that. Okay, let's see here. Maybe it's just too big. Maybe that's the problem. Don't know. I mean, it definitely makes it clear whose turn it is. I do feel like it's just a little bit too big. So let's scale it down. So let's go back in here. Let's go to our animation player. Let's do 0.75 instead. Let's see what that looks like. I don't know how well that's coming across on the screen, but it's kind of looks a little odd. It's weird because I feel like that fits better, but at the same time it's almost like it's harder to see. Keep it at 1. Do we want to make it faster? if we make it faster, I think it's going to be more annoying. Yeah, that almost feels more annoying. Maybe if we make it slower. Hmm. I almost feel like maybe we should do a shader. Let's actually, you know what? While we're here, do I have my project scene open? Let's do a second instance. Actually, you know what? I think it was in 4.6 as well. Let me see my last dungeon fodder. Dungeon fodder 4.6. Okay. So let's see how I did it here in this previous one. And this one was with a shader. So if I just do a run this. Oops, that's not what I wanted. So this, so when I selected it, I just highlighted them with a shader. I don't know if that's, kind of the, would that be better? Oh, we can always try. Let's see what we got. We got a few more minutes. Let's just try that and see what it looks like. So if I come down here, we go to their sprite, we go to the shader, the outline shader. Where is the actual material of it? There we go. Here's the shader. Here's our outline shader. Okay, so let's copy this. Control C. Okay, let's go back over to our game here, and we go back to how do I want to apply this? Let's just do rogue for now. Rogue. So I come in here, visibility ordering, where material. Here we go. New shader material. New shader. We call this. Let's go here. Let's go up. Up. Scenes, items, new folder, shaders. I call this the outline shader. Okay, we'll create that. We'll paste that in. This is our outline, save. Okay. Oh yeah, we need to do 0.5. Where is the local to scene? Is this the one? I always forget which one I have to save on this to make sure that it doesn't apply to everybody. So now let's copy this and let's go to Rogue, Wizard, Sprite, Material, Paste. Okay, and let's, just for giggles. Purple. That works. Save. Okay. So right now, if we use that shader, don't know. Don't know if we like the shader better or if we like the throbbing box better. Not sure. Let's see if we can get a bunch of enemies on screen, and we'll see what stands out better. And of course, now we're just going to get a whole bunch of traps instead of enemies. There we go. So like this red definitely draws the eye and says, hey, this is so-and-so's turn. Purple definitely does not. But the box indicator, I think the box indicator is a lot more effective. But the design choice of do we do that or do we do the shader? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know which one we should do. I'll try making the box animation scale much less, maybe only a little bit each second. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you just saw, I tried that, and the problem is when it's either too slow or if we don't scale it as much, then it gets lost. I don't know. Should we do you think, Michael, we should just keep it big? Like if the animation was 1 second long, only bump the scale for the last point. Oh, so it's kind of like a here, boom, just like a quick like heartbeat almost. Okay, so let's just take these off for right now, and we'll come back to that. Okay, so let's go back over here, and so if we do that, yeah, like a heartbeat or pulse. Okay, so if we do this, let's insert another key here. So if we do this, it just goes boom. I wonder if we should also shrink it down to like 1.0 and then okay, let's see what this looks like. So we do that. Boom. Hmm. Maybe if we don't scale it as much, maybe it might look a little bit better. So let's go and take a look here and let's see. Instead of that, we're at 0.5. Let's point it to 0.75 maybe. I mean, it's not too bad. Is it? Should the heartbeat be shorter, you think, maybe? Because everything we do right now is a tenth of a second. This is, 2/10 to go in and out. Yeah, less scale, maybe even faster. Okay, let's try that. So we got, let's see, 0.5. We're going to 0.6. And then if we zoom in here, let's do this down to just, there we go. This might look a little bit more like a heartbeat. Boom. Boom. That's not too bad. I just worried that like right here, it feels like it's getting lost. So maybe we start it larger and then make it a little bit larger overall. Let's go back here. Let's try this. Let's try here. Let's try starting at like what are we scaling it to right now? We're scaling it up to 0.6. So maybe if we start this at 0.6. And then we throb it up to 0.75. Okay. So now it should be just a little bit bigger than them. So it's a little bit bigger, but it's still pretty close to sticking in the square. It doesn't quite feel like it's being as lost in the barbarian now. So maybe, yeah. Hmm. I'm also wondering if maybe what we do instead is we just leave it solid the entire time, and just when that character becomes active, then it kind of like zooms in on it. Starts out large and then zooms down in. Um, that might work too. I don't know. I'm gonna try that. Well, let's try that. So if I take this, let's stop this entirely. Let's make it a one play animation, and we're gonna start it out. We're gonna just duplicate it. To me, it's starting to feel pretty good, but I like to zoom in on the unit. It becomes active. Okay, so yeah, let's just duplicate this. Oops. Duplicate. We'll just call it zoom. Okay, so let's start with, let's start it out here at 1. So we'll start it out fairly large. We'll zoom in. Let's make it point. Okay, that might be a little too fast. Okay, 0.2 seems like a good one. Okay. And so let's see, that zooms down to 0.6, ends at 0.75. Okay, so if we do that, okay, and then if we go back into our script, and we'll just have to make sure we call it on activate. Game board. So let's see here. We modulate the indicator here. So that makes it disappear. This makes it appear. So we'll do this, and then we'll do dot. I'll need a script on this one, because I can't call that directly. Okay, script, select box, that's fine. Create, animation player, save. And you know what, let's just do a function. Let's call it act. Void, and then we'll just do animation player dot play zoom. Oops. Quote. Wow, here we go. How many different ways can I mistype this? Jeez. Okay, so if we do that, we'll call that way, and then we can just come back into our game board, and we'll just say indicator dot zoom. Select indicator dot zoom. Did we not? What did I mess up? Hold on. Oops, local. Oh, I called it dot act, not dot zoom. Okay, that would be why. Okay, so now we end turn. Zoop. Okay, so that might be a little bit underwhelming right now. So if we start this out, let's make it a little bit. How about we make it really short? Because they act pretty fast. So if I do it this way, boom. Okay. Move. We end the turn. Zip. Zip. I think I like that feeling. I think I like that real quick. Zip. Zip. Because then it's doing it at the same time that the camera's moving to the new actor. So I think I like that. Thanks, Michael. Thank you very much for that tip. You kind of steered me in the right direction on that. So yeah, no, I do like that a lot. So the next problem we have though is I think I'm gonna get I don't know what to do with the health bars. This is the problem we have with dealing with a low resolution assets with that health bar. Hmm. Okay, so I like that animation. Let's go back over here. Let's go back to our Kanban here. And let's did we have current actor clarity issue? I think this right here, bounding box. Yay. Done. Save. I think that is pretty good. So let's go back into here. Let's cross off. Did we call it current? Thought I had it in here somewhere. That was part of the feedback. Nope, I guess not. Okay. Oh, right here. There it is. Okay. That was one of our, you know, higher requested feedback things. So I think that is good. And again, that's awesome that we got that there. Let me just go back over here. Where is my that's my old game. I don't want that one. Okay. So we got that. So we fixed today. Let's see. We fixed the issues with the trap death. So if we do, let's see here, if we can get some traps to come up. There we go. Okay, wizard. You know what? Teleport right onto a trap. Okay, let's see if we can get you to die. And we will shortly. So let's make sure that I didn't break anything else by doing this. End turn, okay. Move. Come on, die on the trap. There we go. So it dies on the trap, automatically cleans up, moves to the next frame. Excellent. Okay, so we got a lot going on here. And I think, so we got that cleaned up. We've got spike death cleaned up. We got the attack cleaned up. We've got the stacking cleaned up so we can't stack on each other anymore. We got the monster spawner crashing whenever it tried to calculate party level. We got that fixed. We got the combat log scrolling. We got that fixed so that this doesn't scroll the map anymore. It just scrolls this. And then we got this targeting clarity. So I think we're in a good spot here. So we got these guys. We move back to town. And it repopulates. We get our new replacement wizard and go back in. And now we have an issue. That's why I do this. Okay. So what we need to do is when we set back up the actor, we need to turn off that targeting thing. Okay. That's fairly easy to do because we just did this the other day. Game board. So we do this right here. And when we did, I think it was in setup on this setup actor. Actor spawn. Where did we do actors, add child, combat manager, register actor? Where did we do when we placed them on the board? It's probably in the ready function. Ready. Set up stack, go through the spawners for a character and actors, add child. Spawn positions, add actors, add child. So we can just add that here. So we can just do character dot select indicator. Okay. So this should, if we move back to town, yes, and come back in. There we go. Oh, well, that's the same person. See if we go back in. There we go. Okay. So that cleans that up. So we don't have that double issue now. Okay. I think that is going to wrap us up for today. So tomorrow, the vote for the stream was to start working on bosses. So a boss character, so we can actually start getting decent loot. So let's go ahead and just double check to see where we are right now. So we'll go ahead and stop this. We are at 75 hours on the dot. So we are getting there. We've still got some more definite stuff I need to add in here. WASD for moving, some buff stuff. This is all stuff that I can add into here in our right here, the audio polish, where we have like UI and all that stuff. So that's baked into our plans. We're kind of getting further ahead. You kind of jumping down into there based on what happened for our feedback. Let's see here. Save load. I haven't got to that yet. I think what I want to do is I'm going to take this current build. I'm going to save this and we're going to export it. And we're going to throw this up on itch. So let's see. Export. That's already set up. Export project. You know what? Let's do, before I do that, let's change our version. 0.2. Save it. Project. Export. Export the project. And then we'll put this up and then people can start playing it again. So let's see here. Where is my D drive? D drive. Here we go. Game development. Builds. Web builds. Tiles. Here we go. Let's compress this down. DFT. Whoops. DFT version 0.2.zip. Okay. Where are we? Dungeon Fire tiles. Here we go. Let's edit the game. Upload. Played in browser. We will hide that file. Okay, we'll hit save. We'll just make sure that the new version is working here. It's kind of nice today with the cameras not overheating so that we don't lose the video. Although our sync is a little bit off with the audio versus the what you see on camera. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so we got our game. We got stuff here. We can move. Whoops, not attack, move. Okay. Yay. Excellent. Okay, so what I'll need to do is I'm going to need to update this page. I'm going to put up what the new fixes and everything are so we can start doing basically the next round of playtesting. We still have a bunch of stuff, whoops, over here, that needs to be done. But I think we addressed all of the big issues except for this targeting thing, which I know I still need to work on, and this ability cost. But we got a lot of the quality of life stuff fixed, the major game breaking bugs fixed. Now we just need to work on clarification a little bit more, but we've definitely got some improvements on here so that we can, play the game and hopefully have a good experience. Oh, look, I gave everybody 50,000 gold. I forgot to reset that. Enjoy, everybody, until I re-export the build. But I think that is going to wrap it up for me today. I do have to grab something to eat and get my son to a dentist appointment, but I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. UTC time streaming. We are going to work on, probably we're going to update, get the AP cost in there for all of the abilities, and then I'm going to start working on building that boss character, because I do have a like pale orc, I think it is, that is a boss character. I believe. Let me just quickly just double check here. Bum. It is called a pale champion. There we go. So we'll work on getting that, and we'll get him spawning tomorrow. So then we'll have a boss character to fight, and hopefully we're gonna get him to drop some good loot to help level up the players. But till then, I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Thanks for joining, and especially, thank you, Michael, for those the guidance and trying to get that indicator working better. So I do like where it is. So with that, have a good day, and I'll